Welcome. Get ready, because in today's Explainer, we're diving into a story of sheer willpower, tactical genius, and honestly, one of the most stunning sports transformations in modern history. I mean, if you've ever watched a football match and just marveled at the absolute precision of a world-class athlete completely dominating the field, well, you're gonna love this. We're breaking down the incredible and kinda accidental evolution of Robert Lewandowski. We're going to trace exactly how a seriously frustrating tactical adjustment literally forced him to adapt, completely reshaping him into an unstoppable force on the pitch.
Okay, let's dive into this central mystery, right? How exactly does a benched dreamer, a guy struggling just to get a few minutes on the pitch, transform into the world's absolute most feared striker? Like, what actually happens when the path to your ultimate goal takes a detour that you are actively fighting against? As you'll see through the source material we're looking at today, it was a very specific and honestly highly controversial tactical shift that fundamentally changed football history.
Part 1. The Dream versus Reality.
So we've got to set the clock back to the start of all this. The year is 2010. A highly promising Polish footballer has just transferred to one of Germany's absolute top-tier teams, Borussia Dortmund. And this is the start of a true hero's journey for us to explore. It starts with this massive, dreamy transfer, but then it plummets, really quickly, into the harsh reality of just being benched. Then it takes a sharp, super confusing turn when he's forced to play the number 10 role before finally culminating in a triumphant return to his original position as a superstar striker. It's a rapid, totally unpredictable trajectory.
The contrast of those early days at Dortmund is almost tragic when you really think about it. I mean, Lewandowski came into this club with this massive, burning ambition. His absolute dream? To become the best striker in the world, just like his idol, the legendary Thierry Henry. But the reality? Well, the reality was incredibly humbling. His main position, week in and week out, was simply sitting on the sidelines. He wasn't out there scoring goals, he was just watching.
Part 2. The number 10 experiment. Now we enter the mentor phase of our story, involving none other than his coach at the time, the legendary Jurgen Klopp. And the tactical choice Klopp is about to make was a very deliberate and very frustrating challenge. You see, to survive the reality of the bench, Lewandowski had to get creative. He was struggling in team training sessions, just desperately trying to prove his worth. So, he started making these little bets with Klopp during practice. The stakes? He was just trying to keep his goal-scoring average up. He wanted to prove, hey, I don't need sensational circumstances to find the back of the net. He just needed to keep that striker's instinct sharp, even without the game time.
Now, what's really interesting about this tactical shift is the number 10. Because unfortunately for Lewandowski, despite winning those bets, he couldn't play as a striker. Instead, Klopp makes a pivotal and deeply confusing switch. He forces him into a number 10 role. And for those who might not know, that's a playmaking role. You're sitting deeper behind the main striker, and your whole focus is on creating chances for others rather than just finishing them yourself.
The frustration here was just palpable. Lewandowski simply couldn't understand the decision. I mean, he was a pure goal scorer, right? And suddenly he's being told to drop back and orchestrate the midfield. It was a role he absolutely didn't want. But as a young player fighting for minutes under a manager like Klopp, he had no choice. He had to follow his coach's decisions and step onto the pitch totally out of his natural element.
Part 3. A completely different player.
This right here is the critical aha moment. The exact point where a tactical step backward suddenly transforms into a massive career-defining leap forward. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact mechanics of that transformation. Step 1, he gains crucial, hard-fought experience playing entirely out of position in that number 10 role. He's learning how to see the field like a playmaker, hold up the ball, and link the midfield to the attack. Step 2, he is finally allowed to return to his original, preferred striker position. And Step 3, armed with a totally new understanding of the game's geometry, he becomes the absolute best striker in the Bundesliga. He wasn't just a finisher anymore, he was a completely different, highly evolved player. It was only then that the realization finally hit him. After returning to his natural spot and utterly dominating the league, he got it. He understood exactly why Jurgen Klopp made him play the number 10 role. It wasn't a punishment at all. It was an education. That frustrating, annoying experience out of position, that was the exact missing ingredient he needed to become the complete striker he had always dreamed of being.
Part 4. Defying Real Madrid.
So let's set the stage for the ultimate test of this newly evolved striker taking place on football's biggest stage. It's the day before the massive Champions League semifinals, and the odds are incredibly stacked against Dortmund. Out of nowhere, news breaks and is confirmed their star player, Mario Götze, is transferring to their bitter rivals, Bayern Munich. Instantly, Dortmund's morale drops to a dangerously low level. They've just lost their star playmaker, and in less than 24 hours, their backs are against the wall facing a highly strong Real Madrid side. The concern was totally palpable. Like, how on earth do you recover from a blow like that against one of the best teams in the world?
So, the crucial point is what happens next. The whistle blows to start the match, and with just 90 seconds on the clock, Lewandowski decides there is simply no other way out but through. He takes off past all the defenders, immediately striking fear straight into the Real Madrid backline. He is a man on an absolute mission here, carrying the weight of a totally demoralized team squarely on his shoulders.
Part 5. The Ultimate Goal Machine. From that epic moment against Real Madrid onward, we lean fully into the chaotic, record-breaking brilliance of a player who has completely mastered his craft. The plays become a blur of offensive dominance. The ball moves from Lewandowski to Vidal, then Thomas Müller, and once again, it is in the back of the net from Robert Lewandowski. Why? Because that is what Robert Lewandowski does for a living. It literally becomes an inevitability. He isn't just participating in the attack anymore, he is the undeniable focal point of it, finishing plays with a ruthless efficiency that absolutely terrifies opponents.
And the feats just continue to defy belief. There they come again, superb goals from distance, showing exactly how well-rounded his game had become. And then, the moments of pure magic. Literally coming straight off the bus, straight off the bench to score a hat-trick. The sheer disbelief from commentators said it all. You'd hear things like, somehow he's put it in. Oh my word, this is one you just cannot be that good. But he was. That time he spent as a number 10 gave him the spatial awareness to score from positions that pure strikers wouldn't even dare attempt.
And the statistics, they become absolutely staggering. He steps up against top-tier teams in the Champions League, gets his customary goal and brings the count to 55 and climbing. 55. That's a number that speaks to relentless consistency. It's a physical and tactical superiority forged not just by his natural talent, but by that forced adaptation so early in his career.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. What temporary step backwards could launch you to your ultimate goal? Think about it. Robert Lewandowski fought tooth and nail against being moved to the number 10 role. He hated being sidelined from his pure striker dreams. Yet it was that exact frustration, that exact temporary step backwards, that gave him the complete toolkit required to become a total legend. So the next time you find yourself forced into a position you didn't choose, ask yourself, is this a setback, or is this the exact training ground I need? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and keep learning.